Hello there. Hope everybody is well and awake after the lunch, of course, because coma happens. Um, we're ready to start our Gaymer Panel, where we continue discussing the LGBTQ community within the gaming industry. Right now, we have 5 panelists. I will introduce them. It's Finn-Lily Hartwood, Thu Nguyen, Erin Sommerweil, Salli Loikkanen, and Jori-Minna Hiltula, sorry. And I'm sorry if I mispronounce any of the names. We're going to meet our panelists more closely, and I feel like this is a more personal talk in a way. Yeah. So we're gonna, talk about like what truly makes us emotional about this and this project and game dev within the context of our identities. And well, this is all for me. And from now, we're gonna switch over to Nam, which is our panel host, actually. Hello. Give him a hand. Ooh. It's kind of quiet at the venue today. Yeah. So the mic, I think, is yours now. Is that correct? No. Oh. Okay, sorry. Then I am off. You go.
Yes. Oh, hi guys. Very happy, very excited to be here. I hope we gonna be intimate and in a sharing manner. Yeah. Talking. Like be friends for this 1 hour to enjoy this moment and celebrate today. My first task is I'll try to introduce you guys with the audience and ask you guys to introduce yourself, maybe get closer to the audience, open up about yourself. What's your name? What do you do in general in the game development scene? And how do you identify yourself in a sense? So anyone who wants to volunteer can go first.
I can kick it off if you'd like.
Yeah.
Sure. Hi everyone. Yeah, thanks. Hi everyone. I'm Finn-Lily Hartwood. I use they them pronouns. I am autistic and non-binary, gender fluid, and I work as the lead producer at Unicorn Pirate Studio. I've been in the game industry for 15 years now, and one of my big jams that I do is sustainable project management for live ops, because people are humans and making sure that we're treating people like humans. And 2 is diversity inclusion, especially in representation in our games, and how to normalize that in the live ops mobile game industry as well. So that's kind of been my big push, and it's been pretty cool to be able to do that.
So
that's
cool.
Me. Thanks.
I can go next. I am live in Finland, Vietnam. I started as a game programmer, and then later on, I became a software engineer, and I'm currently a software engineer at Delta, Finland. And also, I am a founder of a gamification platform for people who want to learn web development by doing real life project. It has been few months, but it has already 3,000 users. So if you want to check it out, go to Google and search devchallenges.io. But yeah, that's about me.
It's really cool. I checked it out already. Check it out.
Yeah, thank you.
Me too. Yeah. All right, maybe Erin, you want to go next?
Yeah, hello. I'm Erin. I am a VFX artist, and I recently discovered that I'm probably autistic. Hell yeah. I don't have quite as much control or say in LGBT stuff as Finn-Lily, but I do my best. And in my capacity as a person who makes things explode.
Yes.
Small changes matter. So,
yeah.
Every step we do, it matters. So yeah. Salli, you want to continue?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm Salli Loikkanen, and I own a small indie game studio called Lizard Hazard Games, and I make basically games that are mostly about romance, sexuality, and of course the games feature queer characters. I have been in the game industry for a few years and just working on my own studio and so on. And yeah, I'm asexual, so yay, asexual pride. And yeah, I don't know what else. I guess I use she, her, or they, them pronouns.
Nice, nice. A lot of cool things you're doing.
Also
And
big
finally,
ace
we have, yes.
Yes.
Finally, we have Jori-Minna. You wanna go?
Yeah, hi. I'm Jori-Minna Hiltula. I use they, them pronouns. Incidentally pansexual, actively gender fluid. I'm technically not within the gaming industry, as in I am a student of information studies and interactive media at the University of Tampere, and I'm hoping to, once I get past my bachelor's into my master's, focus on the game studies program, which is wonderful at our university. I've sort of done incidental things for all sorts of conventions, and I've done some like sensitivity rating for LARP design, just bits and pieces here and there. I briefly tried to learn study visual design for video games, and oh boy, I will get to that once we get to the questions.
Oh yeah, can't wait to hear more. I'm all ears.
Yeah.
All right, so since we like basically have a rough idea of what we all do, maybe you guys want to start sharing about your work environment or your ecosystem. Is it like comfortable and makes you feel trusted and safe, and how well built it is these days? That do you feel you're at the best at what you're doing, kind of thing? Who have the strongest opinion? Yeah, sure. Finn-Lily.
Okay, sorry, I have all the opinions, and I've got like, I'm a Gemini stellium, so I'm all about the talking, so just jump over me if you need. Anyways, the whole reason I joined Unicorn Pirates is because of the culture of having a like diversity and kindness and inclusion as its core founding principles, and it's been amazing. Like, this is the first studio where I've been able to be in a leadership position and not have to mask who I am, and it's actually been an asset. So, and I get listened to and stuff too. Like, a big thing with femme appearing folks in the game industry is all the toxic masculinity stuff of not being listened to, and it's amazing how much more effective I am when I don't have to waste time with that. It's mind blowing. So it's worth getting up at 4 a.m. for me, definitely.
It feels really nice to like go to work every day, like being who you are, right?
Yeah, it's huge, especially as someone who's neurodiverse as well. So like, I'm neurodiverse and gender diverse and in a leadership position, and like everyone's super supportive. Like, you go on the Slack and it's just gay as heck and everyone's amazing and it's wonderful. And
You're living the dream.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to make sure this exists and there's more of this, because the industry needs it. So it's kind of become my big thing. It's like, I will make this go, because it has been completely life-changing, and I really want, like, the industry needs that. We all need that. We all deserve that. So it's been really powerful and eye-opening just how effective and how different it is. So big props. I love Unicorn Pirates a lot.
Yeah, I can go next if you don't mind. So I forgot to mention that I am gay. Maybe you already guessed it, but yeah.
Well, you can tell.
I am a stock developer of Delia, and I didn't join Delia because they support LGBT. I just have to get a job at like a few years ago, but then now I am at the team that I love to go every day. I didn't go to work and I say I'm gay, but I'm not shy to talk about gay stuff. I'm not shy to let people know I'm gay. Actually, there was one time there's a guy asked me if I was gay in front of everyone. And we get to the lunchtime, and I said yes. And yeah, but after that time, we all get closer. like they get to know me more, and we get more closer, and like they respect, they listen to me, just me as a gay guy, but also as a Vietnamese small guy. There's like people listen to me. That's something that I feel honored, and I love to go to work every day. So I love Delia. I love to go to work every day, and I really hope that the environment that I'm in would be the same to everyone else. But yeah, that's for me.
That's very helpful sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going, guys. Like Salli and Jori.
Yeah, yeah, I can go next for sure. For me, it's a little bit different because I am in sort of a leadership position, even though I don't have employees in my company, but I have a lot of like freelancers working with me, and sometimes I take interns from the local school and so on. So for me, it's a lot of it is like up to me to create that environment where everyone can feel safe and accepted. And I don't know if it's because of the kind of games I create or the kinds of people I know or what, but like very often the people who end up working in my projects are LGBT plus. Even when I'm like recruiting from like online, like open applications for freelance work, often just by chance, I don't know, it happens just that the people I happen to pick later on say like, yeah, I'm gay too or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but welcome.
There's definitely a thing with that because I think because we're also starved for such supportive environments. We see any studio that's like, oh, you might be reasonable humans to us.
Yeah.
We're just like, holy fuck, Unicorn Pirates has a bunch of people applying every day too. And we're like, oh, we gotta grow so we can bring people on board because of that. It's awesome
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, and definitely for me as well, it really helps for me as well that the people I work with are, many of them are LGBT plus, because I am queer too. I mentioned I'm asexual, but I'm also sort of gray, ace, pan, whatever. So it's a lot of stuff. And it's really nice to be able to work with people who understand me, and also that they know that I understand them as well.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
How about Erin? You wanna share a bit about your
yeah,
workplace?
so I work at a company called I technically I'm not actually supposed to be sort of here in a sort of I work at this place, but we'll sort of sneak it in. I work at a company called well, yeah, because they're like, we have to approve things, and I'm just like, huh. No, so I work at a company called End Dreams. It's not very diverse. It's fallen into a trap that I saw on Twitter a little while ago, which was when there are more people called Dan than there are women. There's but it seems to be going in the right direction, which is nice, and people have been quite supportive, and they asked me like, oh hey, what are your sort of like name and pronouns, and we'll make sure that they're correct on the HR system, so that's nice. And they've been pretty good at just sort of listening and trying to sort of, well, basically listening to the people that work for them and do what they can to make a supportive environment.
Okay. Awesome. How about I think it's different for Jori a bit because you're still like in a study zone, but how is that?
Yeah.
Working
Yeah,
out?
I feel like within the academic world, I sort of I feel like I live a little bit of a double life, as in within my studies, within like day-to-day things like attending classes and so on, I have to sort of fly under the radar because, well, most of my studies firstly are in Finnish, which only has one gender-neutral third-person pronoun. so I don't have to go through the whole, hey, I use they, them pronouns for the most part. And if I am in a situation where I would need to do that, I usually don't, because it feels like I'm probably in a lecture with 300 other people. Can I require this sort of exceptionalism, so to speak, to, deal with the whole pronouns and identities thing? I have to go by my legal name at the university. I can't get it changed because systems.
Yeah.
But I do some of my academic work under my preferred name. I do most of my convention work under my preferred name. My writing work and so on. I'm not sure how I'm going to start doing things like my research work, probably just under my legal name, and then deal with having to juggle sort of two different identities, i.e., having a name that is very gendered towards one binary gender in Finnish, and then using a name that is accidentally and sort of on purpose a little more muddled.
Yeah, that can be really tricky. I ran into that. I've been privileged enough to have my actual real name rather than my dead name legally now, just for about a year. But I've had to think about that hard with like LinkedIn and stuff too, because it's like your history of here's my accomplishments and your whatchamacallit, notoriety in the industry is tricky, right?
And partially it's because of Finnish legislation in regards to names. Although it has been relaxed slightly recently, you're still technically not allowed to have a name that is labeled as belonging to the other binary gender. And you're not legally allowed to be anything other than male or female. So.
Ouch! Shit! Wow, I had no idea. I'm sorry. God. Wow. Yeah.
Like theoretically, I could apply to have my name changed, but 95% chance it would not pass. So.
Wow. That is.
Yeah, and just applying, just sending in the application costs money. So.
Oh wow.
Not gonna bother.
Yeah. The whole our genders and true selves are behind a paywall. Fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, so like so far, like I don't feel like I've faced any real like opposition towards the existence of my identity or anything, but I just feel like I don't want to be the one causing a hassle over things.
I understand completely.
When it's literally just like it's 5 university credits.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to weigh that pro and con, right? How much is it worth being visible versus the potential social damage, for sure. So,
but since we're here, like actually, because like I think like for us, our identity has to be like brought up by us, right? So like, it's mostly our work in a sense. So do you guys feel like a sort of peer pressure or like a need to like explain yourself, or like you have to identify yourself with the people around you, or like, and then when these issues get mentioned, like the peer around you is like bring up these issues and then like they mention it and then discuss with you, or do you feel like you have to do it by yourself?
Yeah. Does anyone else want to start or keep starting?
You can start.
I feel bad. All right. Yeah, so in terms of self-disclosure, that's definitely a tricky thing, right? For me, like, again, I have massive privilege. I'm white, I'm okay, affluent, I'm in a very liberal city, and I have been lucky enough to like have a job in the industry for a while now, even if I'm not as far along as I would be if I was this het dude. I'm still pretty privileged. So I've been able to kind of take that stand of like having my they them pronouns in my LinkedIn profile and in my email signatures, and actually led the charge at the last studio I was at. Unicorn Pirates, I walk in and everyone's got it, and it's great. Like even in the onboarding thing, is like here's our pronouns and here's like any like mental accommodations that we need, and that was amazing. So like definitely like at Unicorn Pirates, it was just if you want to, and it's great and it's super safe and everyone's already super out in the air open and it's awesome. I think one person was awesome. They're always like, just as a heads up, in case anyone forgot today, I am gay, and it's wonderful. Just as a meme. We have so many gay emojis. It's wonderful. But in terms of the rest of the industry, like I do have to think about that. Like I'm in a leadership position, and generally with my like orientation and gender, like I'm purposely at the point of, I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to cuss, but basically, fuck it. I'm me, and I want to be visible because representation matters, and the more of a platform and visibility that I am as just a person in the industry, the more important and impactful it will be for other people to see that queer autistic people are in the industry and in leadership positions. So I kind of take that on as a personal kind of quest to be that visible. In terms of like disclosing, say, neurodivergence as a leader, that's been a little bit more like I'm feeling out the waters. But like one thing I'm finding is I build a little bit of rapport, like get everyone like, oh yeah, no, Finn knows what they're talking about. This is great, cool. And then I'll go, by the way, here's the accommodations I need. Like if I miss something in a social cue, just like let me know because I probably missed it. Or having like another leader in a meeting with me just to like double check if I missed some things, because I'm very like in the facts and let's problem solve and let's do that. And I'm hyper aware of other people's like emotional states in general as just a survival mechanism as being an autistic person. But yeah, I definitely still miss things. So it's just being aware of those things. But also I find being able to just be like, hey, this is me. Here's what's up. Here's the factual, straightforward data. Here's what lets me be awesome. It's been really beneficial. But again, I have massive privilege. I've been able to do that. So, and as I've gotten more experience and my skills are there and people know like, oh yeah, this person's awesome, then I have a lot more power to be that. So I'm basically just trying to leverage my privilege as much as I can. So that's kind of my jam, generally speaking. But at a conference, random people, you know, if everyone's safe and chill, then I'll just be like, yeah, here's me. I'm all about this. But like, you know, I read the room. If people see it a little more conservative, I might not necessarily start with that. I might drop it later in the conversation if they seem good. But you know, it's like everything. It's that constant. When do you come out? When do you not? So again, I'm just really grateful and lucky to have the privilege of being out completely everywhere. So that's been really good. And not having to go through society with all this work from home has been amazing for not having this social dysphoria. It's great.
I've experienced similar actually with working from home has been literally the only reason that I've been able to like survive at the moment. Just because when I'm working in an office, in all 3 games industry jobs that I've had, I've been called up by my boss or HR or something at some point and been told, hey, we really like how excitable and passionate you are, but you can be quite distracting.
Wow.
Because I'm always just because I always just like inject myself into a conversation without realizing that it's like not correct to do.
Oof, feel bad.
And so like now that I have context for that, I'm just like, oh, okay. It's just because I have like no idea what social cues are.
Yeah. We just literally didn't learn some of those systems because we don't learn it the same way. So it's just learning for sure. So I'd love to chat later. We can swap notes.
Actually, at work, I talk a lot and I might connect to people, and I don't think that people blame me for that. Maybe I'm just lucky or something. But regarding like, do I need to talk to people about my identity? I don't think I have a need to do that. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, just go to work and, you know, be yourself. No matter like who am I or like what I like, you need to respect me no matter what. And I would like to talk to people like who I am, like close, like when we get close enough at some stage that we want to talk more than just work, then I would like to come out to them because be like knowing me that I'm gay, it means that you would know me. Like we are able to be honest with each other. So that's, I think like, I mean, we just being who we are, and you know, forget about the LGBT thing because it's just a normal thing. That's my opinion.
Bold of you to assume I'm het, right?
Yeah. People love you for your personality, isn't it? Yeah. So
Mhm.
there'll be other things that label you. Like that.
Exactly.
To
That's why
redefine the-
normalization. So
Yeah. Any sharing from Salli or Jori-Minna?
Yeah, I feel like whatever I could phrased better by someone else.
Yeah.
Maybe I just want to quickly add that for me as well, it's like, well, since I make the kind of games that I do, and also sort of the way that I look and so on, I think it's more obvious to people that I'm not maybe straight because of the work I do and so on. So I feel like for me it's sort of easier sometimes because I don't necessarily have to always come out, because it might be something that people already expect of me based on just my work, the
Your
kind of games I
reputation
do.
precedes you.
yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And that has
Yeah.
a lot of power for not having to deal with the emotional
Yeah.
labor of that, right?
Yeah,
When
it's a privilege for
Mhm.
sure. And I also like live. My sort of social circles are also very like the same kind of people as me and so on. So like whether it's work or free time or whatever, there's rarely like a need for me to sort of talk about my sexual identity.
because it's just it's not expected, but it's not such a big deal, right?
Yeah. But
And
if
having that, sorry, go.
yeah, like but if it's sort of if it's relevant, then of course I will talk about it. But yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that is one thing that's really cool. Again, I'm sorry I keep going on. But being able to work on a game that is specifically about queer culture, like that already self-selects, it already filters so much already.
Yeah.
And same, by just having they, them in my LinkedIn profile, it generally already filters people of they come in knowing kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it helps a lot, for sure, when you can have that, when you have the opportunities to say yes or no. So.
Maybe the filter should go first before anything else. Yeah. Very smart. All right. Here's a very exciting question that I love to ask, because like we live in a time that we see creative work and like TV shows, games, and like all the entertainment mediums. They do more LGBT plus presentation and like educate us about this knowledge and stuff. So as like people who involve actually in the project work, do you guys like how much involved, or like do you guys get to like inspire or like influence over these creative influences, like character representation, and like bring up these stories about our lives into the audience out there who might not know about the minority. So yeah, I'd love if you guys can share your working experience around this. Super excited to hear. Yeah.
Well,
you go.
I could actually go first here, because for
Yeah.
me it's pretty like quick to explain, since I am in the leadership role and I make queer games. So yes, I get to make those decisions. And I think it would be cool to get to work on some bigger title at some point and be able to affect that, to have more representation in like bigger, maybe AA or AAA games, possibly in the future. But yeah, as for right now, I just make all the decisions. Yeah, when it comes to my games, that's it.
Yeah. Now, and Salli, I know that you have like very cool projects that you've been working on very hard, like super cool about presenting these queer stories with your characters, and like bring these stories into life with the audience out there. You might wanna share a bit about that.
Yeah, plug your stuff. Let's
Yeah,
go.
all right, thank you. Permission granted. Yeah, so
We gotta support each other.
Yeah. So my latest project is called Lovingly Evil, and it's a villain dating simulator. And you get to make your own villain character, and you get to choose like all the pronouns and backstory, and like you get to create your character like both visually and some background story for them. And for example, I already mentioned this in my talk before, but for example, you don't like the body type you choose isn't related to your pronouns, so you get to choose everything like you want to, and like you can dress up your character however you want, and so on. So yeah, and yeah, you can date villains. Yes, there's you can date Satan. Yes, yes. You can date the evil stepmother and like an evil AI and so on. So all sorts of like villains that are very like stereotypical, but like in a good way, I would say.
I love how much that's leaning into the queer coding of villains and that history of media. I love that you're just like, this is ours now. We're reclaiming this.
Yes.
Cue the Marge Simpson meme of "It's just neat."
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just think they're neat.
I just think they're neat. Oh, watching Gargoyles again, I'm like, oh, I just thought they were neat.
Yeah, and last thing to plug, you can find my games on Steam. I also have a game about a gay called Your Royal Gayness, and a game about dating game developers at the Game Jam, and that's called Love Bug. So yeah, if you're interested, go check those out.
That's amazing. What was the first game what was the name of the villain game again?
Lovingly Evil.
Lovingly Evil. Nice. Those are some great ones. And the studio name again, just so I remember.
Lizard Hazard Games.
Lizard Hazard. That's amazing.
What I admit, the Satan is super cute.
Yeah.
Yes, I like it very much.
So good. Does anyone else want to go? Because I can go on about this for a while. So.
Can't wait. Really.
All right. So just to make sure I'm focusing on the right. What was the question again? Because I have vast
mostly
knowledge.
about like your projects. Let's say how much they involve with these representation and like our stories being brought up. You know, how do you get to like influence that creative minds to like bring it into life? You know what I'm saying?
Cool. Well, I'll tell you my secret sauce of being able to get there to do that. So the previous studio I was at for 7 years is called A Thinking Ape. They do social mobile games, and one of their big ones is Party in My Dorm, which is like, pretend to go to college, and it's really just a glorified chat game. Right. Some of the ads are a little distasteful. That was part of the reason I left. But when I started there, I started as a community manager person because I was really burnt out from the industry. I'm like, I was, producer, and like I was just like, I can't. So I decided like, I can answer emails to gamers in my sleep. I'll be able to do this. And then I learned how much work and emotional labor goes into community management. Mad props to community managers. But it was still a really great learning process. As an autistic person, helped me learn a lot of social stuff because I had so many touch points and experience. But anyways, got to become essentially the community manager and the product owner for Party in My Dorm fairly early on, because I was very eager, go-getter. Things would be better if we did X, Y, Z. They're like, all right, go for it. I'm like, okay. So that community had a large LGBT presence, or I'd just say queer community myself, because I just find it really inclusive. So it already had a huge queer community, just because you can put on any avatar, you can hang out and chat, and the whole thing is just like that demographic. As you're going to college, you can experiment and explore and all of that thing. Even though a lot of people are older and younger, it was a great chance for people to just self-express. Anyways, so being in that as a community manager, I got to help not instill, but like protect that community from shitty bigotry, because that's what you should be doing as a community manager. You want a healthy community. So I got to do that, and that helped curate that and bolster that. And then I got to be doing content, being like, the community really likes this, the community really likes that, because I was super into it. So then I got to, mirror, like, this community wants this thing, this community wants that. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. I eventually got to the point where I was the one coming up with all of the content. So I had to like start slow, and it was figuring out what's decent. So yeah, eventually it just got to the point where I'm like, you know what? People want Pride stuff. Like, it's Pride. Let's do Pride avatars. Let's do that. And then actually the art lead and good friend was one of the ones that really pushed, like, hey, everyone's white. Can we not have all the avatars be white? And so like that was a big thing. And so together we really kept pushing the envelope of the content and got to prove out, because it's in Live Ops Mobile and we're releasing content like every 2 weeks, we got to prove out, like, people want this. It is financially viable. It is good. Look, it's bringing engagement. It is, some of our best-selling avatars are the queer ones. Like the one of the best ones was the intersex Pride avatar. That I was really happy that I was really proud to have been able to get that in game, because I think it's a first. So we got to really prove that stuff out and be like, okay, how the heck do we do diversity inclusion well for things that we can't personally speak to as a team? So that's where we really got going, of like, let's make a process. So I got to actually build a process, figure out the data, figure out how to integrate it into like a product release pipeline or content release pipeline. So that was amazing and super powerful. And so basically helped grow that product. And then as, things were becoming not as good with some of the leadership decisions there, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take what I learned and I'd like to go elsewhere where something's more in line with my values, which is like wholesome, inclusive, diverse, human rights, actual good values. And that's how I landed at Unicorn Pirates. And now the projects we're working on, because like Salli is saying, sorry, I mispronounced your name, because the flagship, the banner is, we make diverse content, we make diverse games. That's our branding and industry advantage. We can speak to that as our own voice. And so then I've been looking at like really reading into like how to build diverse teams, because we already have a diverse team. How do we make them more diverse? How do we make it supportive for like new, different intersections of marginalization that we don't have? Like, we don't have any Black people on the team. How the fuck are we going to get Black people on the team? We need to. So looking at that and making sure that our environment's very supportive, because, I was the first girl, quote unquote, in the studio forever when I started my career, and it's really hard. You have to mask real hard. So trying to take that and build good team building systems as well. Anyways, so now, because we've been loud and proud long enough, and now it's considered an advantage to be able to speak to those audiences. Again, because younger audiences, more and more people are queer because they're allowed to be now. So it's actually becoming an advantage to be able to speak to your own experience. And that's what I'm also pushing as well. So that's become literally our, like, we can speak to these audiences because we know them, because we are them. So like, let us absolutely rock your audience because we know what to do. So that's kind of been where that's at. It's been a really cool, wide whirlwind and learning along the way. But the biggest lesson I could just say to anybody trying to do this, one, for the trying to convince the business case, it is good business. It doesn't hurt your business. Go for it. I literally have an article on it if you want to look at the data. But
sure, yeah.
I'll link
share it
that.
to us. Yeah.
Yeah, it was from a top.
Yeah, if you could share it on like
the
event great. Discord or whatever, that would be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing, just as creators, and sorry to cuss again, heads up, just fucking try. You will mess up. We are humans. We will all fuck up. But be open to learning, be comfortable with being wrong, listen, like the best apology is change behavior. Like that's really it. But it's better that you try and push stuff and like push that envelope and have representation than to not. That's literally it. And it's good for business, it's good for everything, and you just gotta try it. And I'll be having a talk, sorry to plug myself, I'll be giving a talk at Pocket Gamer Helsinki next week, specifically on how to do this in more detail. So how to foster diverse teams and psychological safety as a leader, but also how to do consulting and ask these questions in production as well, because I want all of the game industry to do this more and to know how to do it. And I think the first step for because the leadership in the game industry is so dominantly cis het white male, is to help the industry leaders get more comfortable with how to be uncomfortable and how to have these scary conversations when they hold all this privilege and stuff. So that's kind of my goal there. So yeah, that's my giant long ramble. It's been a constant me living my values and being able to do that, and just to keep pushing forward and to keep problem solving and troubleshooting it and just approaching it very here's how, did this work, did this not work, and all that stuff. So I've been really lucky to be able to back stuff up with data and not to not just be it works. Now I can be it works, data. So yeah, that's been fantastic.
Such experiences. Yeah, we cannot accomplish that much. So yeah, everyone, you hear it. Be prepared to attend for her talk next week. Yeah. Definitely show up. Tune up for that. All right, so we can move to the next topic, our last topic, smoothly, since we're here. Now that we're talking about power and authority and decision making, if given the chance or opportunity, what you guys gonna do? Or one big thing or one small thing, any ideas or notions on how you want to change this inclusive gaming industry to be more, colorful and proud in a sense. Yeah, Erin, you wanna express your right mind?
Sorry, I just dissociated for a few seconds. Please repeat the question.
So you want me to repeat the topic?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's been a long week.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So if you're given decision making power, how you wanted to make the game industry to be more positive towards our pride spirits in a sense?
Probably just giving people the option to work in the way that they need to. So it's not necessarily sort of just a pride thing. It's also I found that a lot of the time I butt heads with the sort of flow of the companies that I work at, because I work in a very kind of weird and chaotic way. And so it tends to butt heads with production. So I think just being more inclusive with how people work as well as identity stuff. So if I'm working on features, if I have a set of tickets that I need to get through, if I have to do them in a very specific order, it kind of harms my work. So I kind of find it quite difficult to deal with. So I kind of sometimes have to just impulsively work on improving things that I see in the game rather than the sort of list of tasks that I have. And I think supporting that kind of difference in flow, especially in sort of creatives and art and narrative stuff, would be really, really beneficial, I think.
Definitely.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd really agree with that too. Accessibility and adapting to letting people work the best that they can. I think, honestly, this year's been a tire fire for sure, but the whole shift to work from home, I think, has been a huge boon for a lot of people, especially neurodiverse people or people that are needing different accommodations. And it's kind of forcing / making space for that finally. So I know a lot of people that would be able to be rock stars in the industry if they were allowed to work from home the whole time, because accessibility. So,
I found that working from home has been really good, because when I work in an office, I have to be present, I have to mask, I have to I can't just sort of randomly disappear for an hour, because people will be like, why aren't you working? But when I'm working from home, I can literally, as long as I attend all of my meetings and sort of simulate being a normal quote unquote neurotypical person, I can do what I need to sort of survive, I guess. So I can just sort of attend my morning meeting, pass out for 3 hours, wake up, do all of my day's work in 10 minutes, and then attend my afternoon meeting.
Exactly.
I love
exactly.
a nap. Always love.
Naps.
Yeah.
Also, naps are just good for productivity. All the
Yeah.
high-end
Yeah.
ones have it.
And
so.
it gives me time to feed all of my plants, which make me happy, and therefore it makes my work better.
Exactly. And
Yeah. I have to agree with everything you've been saying because, well, since I'm my own boss and I work from home, I have a lot of freedom. But I think if I worked in a company, I for some other person or like a bigger company, I think I as well would really benefit from like some flexibility, like sometimes being able to work from home and sometimes from the office, because I have been struggling with mental health issues for years. So sometimes it's just way easier to just do the work from home rather than like get dressed properly and go outside and stuff. So yeah, I definitely agree that yeah,
it's super.
more flexibility basically. Yes.
Exactly. That's super big. And like, again, same as an autistic person with like hypersensitive sensory stuff. I lose way less energy not being under fluorescent lights and being able to like flop on a couch, stare at the ceiling, and do some deep thinking. I'm way more effective working from home in an environment that I can control for my own needs.
And also not having to commute, and not having to wake up at a specific time. Which also feeds into not having to rely on caffeine to survive. Not having to take drugs to be okay is good.
Exactly. Reducing the like enforced social rituals of the typical office life is amazing because one, a lot of those things aren't necessarily conducive to productivity. And so, yeah, it's honestly, I think it's going to be so much better, and I don't want us to go back to normal because it's just not as good. Having some face-to-face meetings can be useful for like leadership and business like deals, or like this is a really intense problem to solve. But honestly, those still happen fine over video chat like this. Like I've been just probably more effective because again, right now I have pink noise going on in my headphones, and it's soothing me. It's calming my nerves. Nobody knows that. It makes me super effective. It's great. So that's, accessibility is huge. Just jumping back to the main topic, the like one thing that I'd really like to do. I think this is just the big message that I really want to get out to like our queer community and our neurodiverse community, people, and just marginalized people in general, especially Black people. There's hardly any Black people in the game industry at all because it's so hostile and you need so much privilege to be able to have a tech education to do that, or to learn it on your own on the side. So like that's huge. But the thing that I think, wait for a sec. The most important thing that I think everyone needs to hear is persist to exist in order to resist. Being in the industry, having our community, supporting one another, just existing in the spaces, we can have those small effects. Our voices do add up over time, but we have to connect and support each other. So that's a huge thing. But like Erin, I know you're like, oh well, I can't do too much, but you existing is adding to it. You just being there, you are making micro choices. You are making day-to-day decisions that add up, and so like that's really critical. It's kind of like, I know it's like not to use an overly American thing, but like in Winter Soldier, it's captain's orders. You have to be able to be in that chair to be like it's captain's orders. I'm not launching the missiles, kind of thing. So like existing in this industry is huge, and it's hostile and it can be hard, but it's getting better because there's more and more of us, and because there's more visibility. And again, because of this year, everyone is like, no, we're done with all of this oppression. This is not okay. We're making a stand. that visibility is actually helping the game industry and the corporation era, like the corporation level, a lot. Like you're getting, pronouns and chosen names in like HR systems, and yeah, that's tiny, but it's still a thing. So you're getting these. We're building you to exist and take care of yourself, because that's one of the most powerful forms of resistance that you can do. That's my jam. That's my scream. I get off my soapbox. Mic drop.
Well,
Very,
yeah.
Keep going.
Well, when we were talking about rebooking, I kind of disagree. I don't want to be a freak here, but I mean, like, it's good to have flexibility to work from home or from office. But I do think that we are human and we are like social animal, that we need to like have face-to-face connection. And one of the thing that I need is that the peer pressure. I need to have a coworker that we like push each other to move forward. So not to just like disagree completely, but I think the flexibility and the accessibility, and everyone is different. So if we have like the ability for people to do what they want, would be great.
You are really disagreeing there. I think we're agreeing that people should be able to work in the way that they work best, and if you work best in an office, then that is good.
Yeah.
But like about the given power, I just have one quick comment that I don't know if like this would affect the game industry or anything specifically, but if I have the power to change any industry, I want to like give the access to everyone to learn how to code and to like, educate people, because I think the biggest problem for people is like the understanding and the information, the transparency between like the community. If they get to know more about our community, they will understand more. It's just like we need to somehow like let everyone know and tell more about our stories. So it's just like, for me, if I have a power, I give access to everyone for education for our community, and that's how I see it.
That's awesome.
Very awesome.
I actually, if we have time, I also have one more thing to say about this. I think a great thing, if I had a lot of power in the industry, I think I would take steps to just make not just like the working environment in games, but sort of the environments inside the games as well. For example, multiplayer games. I think it would be really important to make that less toxic and more inclusive, and make better systems for removing unwanted behavior and that kind of stuff, because I play a lot of like Overwatch and stuff, and I think if I was just starting out playing games and I went there and somebody just like called me a whore or something, I think I might not continue playing games if it was just me and starting out playing games. So I think if we want more diverse people in the industry, we also need to make like gaming and being a gamer easier and more comfortable, and make more the gaming spaces like more inclusive, because I think in most of us who work in the game industry also like to play games, and probably got in the industry because they like games and played games either from a young age or got into them as an adult, but most have a passion for games and gaming. So I think if we had more people in the sort of just gamers, people playing the games, if more diversity there and more opportunities, more inclusive spaces and whatever, I think the industry would benefit from that as well.
I have a couple of points I want to jump on there. Totally agree. That's all awesome. But yeah, it starts with community health and community management, and that's the same with creating diverse teams. You have to do it with intention. You have to go, here's what we're trying to do. This is our agreed social contracts with this community is this. And then the other point that I want to make with communities is I think it's really important as the queer community as different intersectional marginalizations go, we have to find each other as well, because it's just like in real life, when you find your queer community, you suddenly are so much more empowered, you suddenly have this more support. And I think that's also a thing we have to help make visible and help people find as well within different game communities as well. It's like, okay, how do we find each other? How do we support each other? Because that's honestly how I see, us queers stick together, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's basically how it happens. And so it's a huge thing. And again, as an autistic queer person, that can be very challenging. So that's the thing that I'd like to try and solve is like, how do you navigate social systems, but also how do you navigate social systems to find people that are like you and support you while being kind of not knowing all the social cues. Hence, video games are great because it's all systems, system design.
Yes.
So I can design that solution. But anyways, yeah, community is huge, and that's where you shift it, because our community is just our online societies, and it's the societal norms that are say what's acceptable and what's not, and what's prejudiced and what's not. It starts with our communities for sure.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. Jori, come back to us at the right
sorry.
time.
My webcam program timed out, and I didn't realize.
No worries.
Oh no.
Oh no, come back.
No, I've heard everything you've said. It's just
Yeah.
I haven't been able to
just
say
okay.
anything, I guess. Not
Yeah.
that I would have said anything, because all of you make such better points than I ever would.
There'll be ground for everyone, don't worry. So yeah, I would say like as a future candidate for the game industry, yeah, given the same question, what would you do? Yeah, I'd love to hear your points before we close up the discussion with Julia. Yeah, feel free to.
I feel like my thing that I would like to see happen in the game industry is see people not only not being afraid to reach out to other people about things like sensitivity reading and consulting on things and whatnot, but just like even having the thought that is an option. Because I've like when I did my program for Robacon about gender diversity in RPGs, I did that program because somebody reached out to me in specific and asked, "Hey, can you do a program on this topic?" And I feel like I would love to see the gaming industry starting to realize that we're out here, we're here, we're queer, ask us questions.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that I would like to see. Starting from like such basic things as like world building for games.
Mm-hmm.
Like even at that level, I would have a lot to say about that, but we don't have time.
Exactly. That would be one thing that I'd really recommend. Anybody who does want to do that emotional labor of informing people and explaining that stuff, put yourself down as a consultant. Just say, I am a blah consultant on your LinkedIn or Twitter or anything, because I actively look for those. That's a thing that's standard. I'm like, how do I find a Black queer person that's into drag? I need that for a project. I need someone who knows that. So consultant. Just throw consultant in your stuff about your identity if you're comfortable and willing to do that emotional labor, because you can charge for that.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Do it. I'm normalizing consulting. We need to. So put your stuff out there.
Getting a job 101.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Well, especially lived experience that only you can speak to, and
I've been told.
Yeah,
True.
that is valuable under capitalism now too.
Gotta love capitalism.
Oh, right. Learning how to.
We're not gonna go to capitalism right now.
Yeah.
Well,
that would take at least another hour.
We live under it. We're all making games. We all need to survive. So don't feel bad about making money, because you need to.
All right, everyone. That was super, super cool, super valuable, super thoughtful, super knowledgeable, super smart of you guys to like bring out not only the colors, but the bright minds of the industry to a wider audience to show us who we are and how much we can shine. So yeah,
Thank you
I
so
would
much for the
like to
opportunity.
close off
Yes,
the
thank
panel
you.
discussion
Thank you.
with our host Julia right here.
Hello. I know we are all,
Our corporate situation, but I'm wearing red. Anyway, thank you everyone for this panel. You've done amazing amount of actually labor for this, each one of you, by being here and talking about and opening up and discussing these things. And I am so happy how you had a conversation, because this is my first time organizing something like this. And also thank you, Nam, of course.
Be initiator for this event
Yeah.
and many more to come.
In the future are able to keep in touch, and I am planning to make this a yearly event. So if you're interested in participating in this, even as a jammer next year, you're absolutely welcome, of course.
Right?
All right,
Is that all?
that's all.
Thank you so much.